सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः शृण्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। श्लोक नंबर 45। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थः निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्। So after talking about the self-knowledge, which is the main topic of this chapter and the entire Bhagavad Gita, now Bhagavan has entered into the topic of Karma Yoga. And he introduced the topic, he glorified the understanding of Karma Yoga, he glorified the sadhana of Karma Yoga by contrasting with the Kamya Karma. Kamya Karma means karma done only for materialistic purpose, Artha and Kama, only for wealth, only for pleasure. The karmas done, they are called Kamya Karma. And compared to Kamya Karma, how great is Karma Yoga, that was explained. And Bhagavan showed the limitation of the approach of the people engrossed in Kamya Karma in the last three shlokas, 42, 43, 44. Now in the 45th shloka, which we were seeing in the last class, firstly Bhagavan is telling that the people who do not have commitment to inner growth, for them all the Vedas are Traigunya Vishayaha. These Vedas are dealing with Traigunya, Samsaraha, consisting of this result in the form of Arthakama and the karmas, the means for Arthakama. So person will be looking upon Vedas only as the means for knowing various rituals, various upasanas and the benefits of those karma and upasana. And he will do karma, he will get the result, but he will remain in samsara. That is what happens with the people who are not having commitment to inner growth. Means those who are not interested in this Karma Yoga sadhana, for them Vedaha Traigunya Vishayaha. So Viveka Buddhi Rahitanam Vedaha Traigunya Vishayaha Bhavanti. And Arjuna, you should not remain in that particular trap that you do karma for artha and kama, get the result in the form of artha and kama, and remain in samsara with so many desires for doing so many karmas, getting so many results, taking new birth, having the experience of janma marana and vyadhi dukkha. And for that purpose, Arjuna, Nistraigunya Bhava. Hey Arjuna, Nistraigunya Bhava. Nistraigunya literally means free from three gunas: Sattva guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. And being free from three gunas is generally considered to be the attribute of a wise person. It's an attribute of Atma and the person who is knowing Atma. Atma is Nistraigunya, free from three gunas, and the wise person who knows Atma as oneself, that wise person also can be called Nistraigunya. But here, in this context of Karma Yoga, Nistraigunya means may you become free for the obsessive desires for karma and karma phala. So Nishkamo Bhava ityartha. So Nistraigunya means may you become free from binding obsessive desires for various results consisting of three gunas, born of the karmas done by three gunas. So Nistraigunya Bhava means may you become free from this obsessive materialistic desire. So in this shloka, Bhagavan is describing the outlook of Karma Yoga, the approach of Karma Yogi, outlook of and approach of Karma Yogi. The first adjective is Nistraigunya Bhava. By this, what is suggested? If a person is interested in this sadhana of Karma Yoga, then he or she needs to be relatively free from these obsessive desires. Relatively free. If he has got obsession with this materialistic desire, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve this, and that alone is the obsession of the person, then Karma Yoga, which is meant for inner growth, will not appeal to the person. Initially, perhaps he may listen to the talk on Karma Yoga and he may just have this attitude for a while. But if he is obsessed with this materialistic desire, Karma Yoga will not be sustained. Therefore, one requirement or one feature of Karma Yogi is Nistraigunya, being Nistraigunya. Second is Nirdvandvaha. Dvandva means pairs of opposite. As we saw in the last class, life is consisting of pairs of opposite. You cannot have uniform experience in your life. It will be always like this, plus, minus, sometimes respected, sometimes disrespected, sometimes comfort, sometimes discomfort. It will be there. All the time you will have comfort, not possible. All the time discomfort, not possible. All plus the ups and downs are bound to happen in human life. Why? Because human life is born of 50% punya, 50% papa. Almost 50. It can be variation of 1 or 2%. Some people have 52% punya, 48% papa. Some people have 52 papa and 48 punya. That much variation is possible. But it is not that you have got 90% punya and 10% papa, not possible. Then if that is your proportion, you will go to Devaloka. ये सीट आपके लिए नहीं है, higher level. And if you have got 90% papa and 10% punya, then also you will not be allowed. You will be allowed then you will go to, the person will go to Naraka. Because Swamiji, I am attending your class first time and you told me you go to Naraka. So that person will go to Naraka. Alright. So this Manushya Loka is for middle class people. Thoda katta, thoda mita. So somewhat punya, 50%, almost 50% punya, 50% papa. Therefore, your day, your whole life will have some up, some down. Even in one day itself, you see. The morning you are okay, afternoon little bit problem, evening more problem, again night you are okay. So something is all possible. Always there cannot be uniform experience. So that pairs of opposite, that is called Dvandva. Dvandva will be there. And Arjuna, you become free from Dvandva. Free from Dvandva literally means you become free from pairs of opposite. Literally it is not possible. As we saw, you cannot avoid variety of experiences. Then why Bhagavan says Nirdvandvo Bhava? If it is not possible, instruction will not be given. That is one principle of instruction. One should never give the instruction which is not possible. People say all this they use there. 100% concentration should be there. Not for a single moment your thought should go away from God. All this they say. If the person who is speaking also doesn't follow this. He advises others. So don't give such instruction that 100% all the time. He said, as much as it is possible, do it. Your children also, many parents they give. Never go out. Never think about anything else. Only study, study. Nothing else. A child cannot do it. So Bhagavan will never give the instruction which is impossible. That much Shraddha we should have. Even an intelligent person, ordinary we cannot say, an intelligent person also will not advise something which is impossible. Then Bhagavan is Maha intelligent. So he tells Nirdvandvo Bhava. Means what? Learn to remain balanced without reaction in this pairs of opposite. Means you learn to take all experiences in your stride, not getting carried away. So somebody respected, don't get carried away. Now I am on the top of the world. Now nothing can happen to me. It is not necessary. Next day one can be down. And when a person is down, he should not think that all the time he will remain there down only. He can go up also. Therefore, when something positive, that which looks positive happens, you don't allow yourself to be carried away by that, by seeing that this is temporary. And even some, what is called unwelcome situation, something painful happens, then also you remember, this is also temporary. So today people are criticizing, say people will praise Arjuna. And those who are praising, more likely criticize also. Criticizing people turning into praising, less possibility. Not impossible, less possibility. But those who are praising you today, very likely so many people will criticize us. We get shocked. Oh, this person who was praising me yesterday like this, you are my God and all this, and he is doing like this. Possible. So, you always remember that as much as possible you remember, I am contradicting myself. So, as much as possible you remember that everything is temporary. So, therefore, Nirdvandvaha. And Nitya Sattvastha. How you can remain Nirdvandva? One Shri Krishna is suggesting Nitya Sattvastha. Remaining in Sattva Guna. And here Sattva Guna stands for Viveka. So, may you remain always in Viveka. As much as possible, may you remain in Viveka. What is Viveka? Everything is temporary Paramatma alone is permanent. And Paramatma alone can be the source of fulfillment. Nothing else can become the source of fulfillment. This is Viveka. If this Viveka is there, then you will not be carried away by Dvandvas. And therefore, Nitya Sattvastaha. And one more, the trait of Karma Yogi is Niryoga Kshemaha. Yoga means here not a yoga day we had no that asana pranayama. Here yoga means Anupattasya Upadana. Attaining what is not attained. Like you did not have refrigerator and you get it. That is called what? Yoga. You did not have a computer and you got it. That getting what you did not have, that is called yoga. The word yoga has got several meanings. That's why people get confused. So yoga, it doesn't mean pranayama etc., asana etc. Yoga in this context has got the meaning attaining what was not attained earlier. Anything, house, marriage life, children, whatever you get, that getting is called yoga. And when you get something, generally you have to maintain it. So upattasya rakshanam, the protection of what you have attained is called kshemaha. Kshema means upattasya praptasya rakshanam. Like you got a computer, so getting is yoga. Then afterwards you have to maintain it. You have to do updates and all. So that is called rakshanam. Kshema. House, you got it. You have to maintain the house. In fact, they say that building the house is not that difficult, but maintaining the house is difficult. Even relationship. Building relationship not so difficult. Nowadays you are on Facebook and he is Facebook, she is Facebook. Relationship. But maintaining it is very difficult. Everywhere you see, maintenance problem is a big problem. People say, Swamiji will build some room and all. We don't agree so easily. Why? Because they build the room. Maintenance we have to do. Maintenance is a big thing. That is why you see, Brahmaji is creator. Vishnu was maintenance person. So who is worshipped more? Brahmaji. Why? Maintenance department. Always maintenance department is very important. So Kshema means maintenance. Yoga Kshema means attaining various things, physical and subtle things like relationship etc. and maintenance of them. That is called yoga and kshema. And our life is busy with this yoga and kshema only. You get something, then you maintain it. Get something, get relationship, maintain it. Get the house, maintain it. Get the gadget, maintain it. So, yoga and kshema alone, life is busy. And that is how we need to do. To have the life, you need some yoga, some kshema. But most of the people are very much concerned about yoga and kshema. Means your mind is worried about getting something and maintaining it. How will I get this? How will I get the house? That is one concern. Afterwards, how will I maintain it? So the mind is most of the time busy with the concern about the yoga and kshema. If your mind is busy with the concern about yoga and kshema, then karma yoga and dhyana yoga will not be possible. Therefore Bhagavan says, Niryoga kshema bhava, kshemaha bhava. May you become the one who is free from worries about this yoga and kshema. We are not saying you give up this yoga and kshema. You cannot give up. Without yoga and kshema, your life is not possible. To maintain your life, you have to get food. And if you are cooking, then you have to maintain also. Kitchen, the storeroom, you have to maintain. And some insects come, the rats come, and all these problems are there. So you have to think of so many things. So it is not possible to avoid completely. But what Bhagavan says, may you become free from the concern about yoga and kshema, worries about yoga and kshema. Planning is okay, but worries are detrimental for the spiritual pursuit. Why? The person who is most of the time worried about yoga and kshema cannot focus on the spiritual pursuit. One Bhashyakara writing commentary on this, very beautiful sentence he writes, Yoga kshema pradhanasya shreyasi pravrittihi dushkaraha. He said the person who is all the time thinking of or concerned about the yoga and kshema, for that person the spiritual pursuit is very difficult. The mind is worried about this yoga and kshema, then that person cannot go deep into Shastra, cannot be committed to this life of Karma Yoga. Because in Karma Yoga, we have to focus on the inner growth, Chitta Shuddhi, and not on the yoga and kshema. We don't ignore yoga and kshema in Karma Yoga, but we don't focus on yoga and kshema. And therefore a person obsessed with yoga and kshema will not be able to follow even Karma Yoga properly. Therefore Bhagavan says, Niryoga Kshemaha Bhava. May you become free from the concern about yoga and kshema. Now question would be, Swamiji, how to become free from the worries about yoga and kshema? I want to be free from worries, but Swamiji, I see myself all the time worried. If you want to be free from worries, sincerely, it is a good sign. Because there are some people who thinks to be worried is a sign of sincerity. One person was telling me in Bangalore, he said, my employee is so much worried about this project, very sincere. So, no, person can be sincere and worried is okay, but we need not connect these two. We should not think that sincere person has to be worried and worried person has to be sincere. Not necessary. Sometimes the worried person may be lazy. And therefore he said, my laziness will be caught, therefore worried. So there is no equation. We should not equate these two. That since person is worried, therefore he is sincere. And he is sincere, that should he be worried. Therefore, sometimes some mature people, when some difficult situation comes, they seem to be calm. So other people think what? That he doesn't care. See, this has happened and he still smile on his face. Whereas others are crying, worried. See, there are other people face and see this fellow. So people expect us to be worried. Expect us to be concerned. Expect us to have the long face. It's a wrong thing. So sincerity doesn't mean you have to be worried. Sincerity means paying the attention on the things to be done. Plan properly. Execute properly. That is what the sign of sincerity. Not that you are worried, therefore you are sincere. Or I am sincere, therefore I have to be worried. So what Bhagavan is saying, that Niryoga Kshema doesn't mean you ignore yoga and kshema, but be free from worries. How? First of all, this first requirement now I talked about is don't connect sincerity with worries. Don't think that I should be worried if I am sincere. And don't judge others based on their worries. That is the first thing. Second thing is, learn to develop more immunity, internal and external immunity, toughness. Means, if you are able to manage without certain things, then you will not be worried about the yoga and kshema so much. See, the person who cannot manage without coffee, he will be so much worried about the milkman. Milk yoga. See, milk. Dugdasya upatam. Dugdha yoga has to happen. Why? Milkman has not come. Milkman has not come. Why? He cannot manage without coffee. If you are managing without coffee, then what? Comes fine. You are busy with whatever you are doing. When he comes, he comes. Some people are addicted to newspaper. This newspaper is such a thing. When we are camped, most of the time our sofa is very busy. So we have to put extra chair. Newspaper is very attractive. So some people, without newspaper, they cannot manage. Somebody said Tambram people, there are three things. Tambram means Tamilian Brahmin. Three things they require. One is Hindu newspaper, this coffee and curd rice. Three things, huh? So if they are not there, so no food, why curd rice is not done. So without curd rice, they feel that today kuch banaya hi nahi. Useless fellows. So one thing is, if you have got immunity, external immunity, in the sense you are not so much dependent upon these external things, then your worries for yoga and kshema will be reduced. Newspaper comes, you will read. Doesn't come, you don't read. No, my brother took away newspaper. Sometimes in my family this is a problem. One newspaper, 5 people. So हम तो करते थे एक पेज अलग करते थे. We used to separate the paper. I don't know, you have done it. We used to do that. So एक पेपर तुम पढ़ो, एक one sheet other person will read. That's all. Problem. And the front page he took. The cricket he took. There will be one page for that. So he took away. But if you have this internal, this toughness, that I can manage without things, then you will not be so much worried. The people have now, this civilization means what? All our luxuries are converted into necessity. So what was the cell phone when it came? It was what? Luxury. Then what? It became necessity. The Wi-Fi, internet, earlier it was a luxury. Now what? Necessity. If we write perhaps that no internet will be available, many people will not apply for the course. Many people, internet nahi hai kya? So one person told, Swami, if you don't give breakfast once, no problem, but internet should be there. So what is happening? This more and more our luxuries are converted into necessity. And because of that, what? Yoga Kshema Chinta happens. The worries about yoga and kshema happens. That is why in our Shastra we have got fasting, etc. And nowadays we prescribe the fasting of TV, internet, mobile fasting, TV fasting, They have got some day called No Gadgets Day, No Technology Day. That is required. Otherwise people become so restless, as if like a fish out of water. Internet is not there. So develop this inner immunity, inner strength to manage without certain things which are not essential for life. See, I am not telling you manage without air. चला 2 दिन प्राणायाम कर लो. I am not telling this. I am telling you for 2 days you manage without internet. That you see, even internet is there, I will not use for 2 days. Can you see that? That you do. So that internet will not become a cause of concern for you. You should be master of gadgets. Gadgets should not be the master of you. And that is the first thing. How to, I am answering the question. People say, what you are talking? Niryoga Kshema. So, how to become free from the concern for yoga and kshema? First answer is, develop inner toughness to manage without things. And I just gave the example of some gross things, but we have to go little subtle also. I should be able to remain without emotional kicks, emotional stimulation from people around me. Swamiji, nobody appreciates me. So you always look for having appreciation. Yoga. And then Kshema. I have to maintain that person who is saying that you are good, you are good. Or some particular relationship. My son should be around me, my spouse should be around me. That also will create concern. So you learn to be strong enough so that you can manage without any object, any person, any situation. And when you have this enough toughness, then you will be relatively free from yoga and kshema. Another means to become niryoga kshema is learn to develop surrender to Ishvara. More you are surrendered to Ishvara, more you will be free from the worries about yoga and kshema. When you have Shraddha, that whatever is required will be provided by Ishvara. Whatever I want will not be provided. Whatever I need will be provided. Like child may ask for knife, mother may not provide. Child may cry also. The child wants to play with the knife. Then child takes the tree. I am asking my mother. I ask 5 times, she doesn't give. Similarly, many things in life we may want, but may not be good for us, and therefore Bhagavan doesn't give. But what I need is definitely good. Somebody has very nicely written, some card is for there. Whatever is needed will be given. Whatever needs to be known will be revealed. So whatever I need to know will be revealed. Need not be anxious. What is happening? What I am talking? I would like to know. Whatever needs to be known will be revealed. And whatever I need will be provided. If that type of trust is there in Ishvara, then you are relatively free from this yogaksha. Something, if it is really required, it will be provided. And as long as it is required, it will be with me. When it is not required, it will be taken away from me. If that Shraddha, that Bhakti based Shraddha is there, then a person can become Niryoga Kshema. And such a person alone can become effective Karma Yogi. That is why Karma Yoga is not a secular pursuit. You cannot have Karma Yoga without Ishvara. You need to have this proper attitude, this devotion for Bhagavan, then only Karma Yoga is possible. And Niryoga Kshema also will be possible when you have Shraddha in Ishvara. You have surrendered yourself to Ishvara. So Niryoga Kshema. And the last one is Atmavan. Atmavan means one who is endowed with Atma. Now Atma, if it means Satchidananda Atma, then everybody has Atma. So then Bhagavan cannot say, may you become Atmavan. You cannot give the instruction for something which is already there. I cannot say, may you become Shirovan. Bhavan Shirovan Bhava. Means, may you have one head. May you become the one endowed with a head. That instruction is not required. Maybe I can give instruction, may you become the one with the head who has something in the head. That is that instruction is possible. But Shirovan is not possible. So Atma doesn't mean Satchidananda here. Atma here means the mind. Atmavan means may you become endowed with the mind. But mind also we have. Mind you have, but mind is scattered. Mind is not having the focus on what is to be done. So here Atmavan means may you become mindful. Means may you have this focus and alertness regarding your goal and the pursuit. So Atmavan means may you become focused on your goal, never lose sight of your goal, and focus on what is to be done. That was Puja Swamiji's emphasis. Somewhere he writes, somewhere there is a quote, that the first thing which makes a person mature is this capacity to accept fact and doing what is to be done. Two things makes you mature. One thing, you accept fact as fact. Don't resist the fact. If you resist the fact, then fact will not change because it is a fact. Only thing, you will have sorrow. So first things which makes you a mature person is this ability, capacity to accept facts in life. My spouse is like this, in my perception. My children are like this. Whatever I can do to help them change, it's okay. But if they are not changing, that's a fact at this moment. Why they are like this? They should not be like this. They are my children. Being my children, how can they be like this? Can they are the way they are now. It's a fact. My children don't listen to me so much. My children listen to my neighbor, but not me. But neighbor children listen to you. That's a balance. So, this is a fact. So, learn first what we learn. Accept fact as a fact. At this moment, this is the fact. And then what? Focus on what is to be done. In fact, one way of being relatively free from sorrow, sadness is this. In any tough situation, first you figure out the all dimensions of the situations and accept them as fact. This is how it is. The accident has happened, and in that some near and dear one is injured, bleeding. This is a fact. I accept the fact and immediately focus on what is to be done. Some people, when some what is called undesirable situation happens, they are so overwhelmed, they don't do what is to be done. They are worried, oh, why it happened, why me, all this. You focus on that. So if you focus on what is to be done, then this situation will not be overwhelming. What overwhelms you is your helplessness. When you are doing something what is to be done, you will be relatively free from helplessness. And that is why Bhagavan is saying Atmavan. Atmavan means alert, focused, alert and focused. Focused about the goal and alert about what is to be done. Alertness in what is to be done. Then you will become an effective karma yogi. So Atmavan Bhava. Apramattaha. Bhashyakara says Apramattaha means not careless. Not careless about your goal, not careless about what is to be done. That is the meaning of Atma. So these are the features of a karma yogi, or this is the outlook of karma yogi. And now in the next shloka, Bhagavan is answering a possible question. What is the question? That in Kamya karma means desire, materialistic desire based karma, I do karma and I get the result. I get artha, I get kama. Whereas in karma yoga you are telling you dedicate all karmas to Bhagavan. Don't focus on the material prosperity. Don't focus on only sense pleasure. Focus on offering it to the Lord. Focus on your duty, not on the sense pleasure and wealth. So somebody may ask this question, that I am doing karma and I will not get this material benefit, or even if I get, it will be very little, because my focus is only on this Ishwararpana, Ishvara Preeti. Whereas the other person is doing the materialistic karma, and he will be getting pleasure, he will be getting wealth, whereas I will not get. And what will I get? Chitta Shuddhi. That's all. So, that person will be enjoying, that person will be having wealth, whereas I will not have all those things. So, am I not deprived of the benefits of karma kanda? For that, Bhagavan says, no. When karma yoga is fulfilled, means karma yoga is followed very well, leading you to the self-knowledge and freedom, then in that freedom, which is the ultimate result of karma yoga, all those results attained by a person who was doing kamya karma are included. Therefore, you will not be ultimately deprived of the benefits of this karma, kamya karma. Whatever benefit they got, it will be included in the ultimate final result of karma yoga. Therefore, you are not a loser as a karma yogi. Karma yoga is not making the person deprived of the benefits of the karma. That is said in the next sloka. Yavanartha udapane sarvatah samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. So Bhagavan gives one example. He says, imagine there is a small puddle of water or a very small pond, and it serves some purpose. Some snanam or achamanam you want to do, some water, it will get you some water for bathing, it for drinking, etc. Small water, small source of water. So whatever small minimum purpose served by the small source of water, all of them, all those benefits of small source of water are included in the big source of water. So, if small puddle of water you left and little bit went ahead, and then you found a very big source of water, good source of water, then what all benefits you would have got from the small one are included in the big one and more than that. And therefore, the person who left the small source of water is not a loser. Similarly, a person who is following the life of karma yoga, even though he is not focusing on the material prosperity and sense pleasure, but when his karma yoga has got culmination in the form of moksha purushartha, then in that moksha purushartha, all pleasure, all security offered by all karmas are included. And that is said here, Yavan Artha Udapane. Whatever benefit is there in Udapana, Udapana means a small body of water. Tavan, that purpose, Sarvata Samplutodake, we have to supply Antar Bhavati, is included. In what? Sarvata Samplutodake, in the large body of water filled with water. Samplutodake means filled with water. Sarvata, all around. So a large body of water is called here Sarvata Samplutodake. So in that large body of water, all the benefits attained in the small body of water are included. Therefore, a person who lost the small body of water is not a loser. Similarly, Sarveshu Vedeshu, in all Vedas, here Vedas referring to Karma Kanda, in all Karma Kanda portion of Vedas, what all karmas and karma phalas are described, Tavan, all of them are available for Brahmanasya Vijanataha. Here we have to supply Jnana Phale. In the result of knowledge, that is in moksha, which is attained by Vijanataha, a wise person who is Brahmana. Here Brahmana refers to a Satvika person. Sattva Guna Pradhana Brahmana. When it comes to the context of Karma Kanda, then Brahmana should mean Jati Brahmana, a person born in the Brahmana family. In the context of the pursuit of moksha and the pursuit of knowledge, Brahmana should be understood as Sattva Guna Pradhana, otherwise called Guna Brahmana. For Karma Kanda, he should be Jati Brahmana. And for this Vedanta pursuit, for the pursuit of moksha, Brahmana means one who has got predominance of Sattva Guna. So for that wise person who is Viveki, Brahmana means what? One who has love for study, love for knowledge. That Brahmana who is Vijanataha, who is a wise person, he has got the result of Dhanam in the form of moksha. So in the moksha of a wise person, all the benefits talked about in Vedas as the result of karma are included. By that, what is the message given? That whatever benefit a kamya karma would have been attained by the person, all those benefits by which are possible from kamya karma are included in the benefit of moksha. How? When a person does this desire-based karma, that time he will get the result of that karma, and result will give him some experiential happiness. And he does some another karma, that also will give him some result which will give him some experiential pleasure. And all those experiential pleasures are finite. And all finite pleasures are included in infinite fulfillment, infinite happiness, which is available in moksha. So in moksha, the Brahmananda is there. That Brahmananda means the infinite Ananda. In that infinite Ananda, all the finite Anandas are included. And therefore, in long run, a person is not going to be loser. In fact, he will have much higher benefits. And therefore, person should not think that Karma Yoga is a game of loss. It is not a pursuit of loss, it is a pursuit of the ultimate gain. It is leading to the ultimate benefit, and therefore Karma Yoga is not a loss. It is something like this. A person, when he passes SSC and he is already 18, suppose, then he can get a job of a clerk or the service center operator. He can get some job, and it's very attractive, because now this fellow, when he was studying, he had very little money. He has to go by bus, and he cannot buy this breakfast, lunch, etc. from hotel. So he has to just manage with whatever home food is there. Whereas this in service center, the car will come and pick you up the night duty, and you will be given food. You will be given salary also. So he thinks, wow. So after SSC pass, what he thinks? Go for this job. That time his uncle will come and tell him, my son, what you are getting is very little. So this fellow, this student, he says, see, if I study further, my hardship will continue only. Still I will not be able to go to a restaurant. The car will not come to pick me up. Whereas, see, they are offering so much benefit. Will I not be a loser by going to college? That uncle will say. Immediately it looks like a loss. But if you study well and you are a good student, and if you study well, you will become MBA. and you will be the CEO of that company. Then bigger car will come, bigger restaurant will come. You will not be a loser. Just wait. So like that, this Karma Yoga, when Karma Yoga Upadesha is given, this fellow will say, I will lose all the benefit of Kamya Karma. Then the Acharya say, no. When the Karma Yoga has its culmination, you will get that moksha in which all the benefits are included. And for that only we have got Vakya to convey this idea. Soshnute sarvan kaman saha. The wise person, he attains all the desired objects. He enjoys all the desired objects. So, Karma Yoga is not a pursuit of loss or involving loss. It is the pursuit leading to the ultimate benefit. That is the message here. By this, we are not saying that one should not one should not work for Artha and Kama. You work for Artha and Kama, but let it not be your obsession, let it not be prime goal of your life. So by this shloka, this 46th shloka, the message given is that a person needs to focus on Karma Yoga so that ultimately he will have that benefit in which all other benefits are included. He will not be a loser, he will be a gainer. And therefore Arjuna, may you focus on Karma Yoga so that you will have ultimate gain in your life. Now, from in the next shloka, Bhagavan is talking about Karma Yoga itself. You will read that shloka, very popular shloka. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sangosva karmani. So this shloka has got different interpretations. We will see one of them, which we can find more relevant to our life. And before going into the discussion of what Karma Yoga is, let me talk about what Karma Yoga is not. There are some misconceptions about this Karma Yoga. And before starting the building, we have to do what? Site clearance. So we'll do the site clearance. Because any topic, when it becomes popular, then it will have more misconception. Because popular means what? Available to many. And when it is available to many, it is subject to distortion. And therefore everybody will add. So like Raghupati Raghav Raja, everybody will add some, and not everybody, many people will add some line. So original bhajan is gone now. Original is altogether different. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, I think some Acharya had written. So now then people adding, I also added one or two. So I remember. करते जाइए अपना काम लेते जाइए हरि का नाम. So I had also added. So, but original is lost. So similarly, this Karma Yoga is so popular that people add their own ideas. And therefore, there are so many misconceptions about Karma Yoga. So we will see that one or two of them, because time is up. First one is that Karma Yoga is an alternative to Jnana Yoga for the attainment of moksha. Means either you follow Karma Yoga or you follow Jnana Yoga. Either you cut the grass or attend the class. Rhyming with that. Cut the grass, Karma Yoga. Attend the class. I don't know, I had not thought of it. Came now. So people think that whatever, either you follow Karma Yoga, then you don't have to come to class. And if you attend the class, you don't have to do Karma Yoga. So some people, they like karma only. They don't like to attend the class. Especially Sanskrit class. Our when Swamiji was telling that when he was attending the course, then Sanskrit class is there, then all students will not come. So Sanskrit teacher will go to the rooms of the student to call them. And that one student, he was so stubborn. He said, I will not come. Hey, but Sanskrit is very important. We say, Ramakrishna Paramahansa kahan Sanskrit padhe the? Mirabai kahan Sanskrit padhe the? Mukta nahi hua. So, some people like only class and some people like to cut the grass. So, people think that Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are the two alternatives for. That is a misconception. Our Shastra says you have to cut the grass and also attend the class. Both you have to do. They are not two options. Karma Yoga prepares you for Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga is not an alternative to Jnana Yoga. What Karma Yoga does, Karma Yoga alone will do. So Karma Yoga prepares you for Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga gives you Jnanam, and that Jnanam is the means for moksha. Therefore, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are not the two alternatives for moksha. Some more misconception we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti.